At first glance, they were just freight trains, metal beasts rolling across America, carrying electronics, textiles, and automotive parts. Nobody paid them any attention, but beneath their ordinary exterior lurked a terrifying secret: soundproofed compartments, hidden cages, and kidnapped victims. For years, one man exploited the nation's rail system, moving people like cargo. When the FBI discovered the truth, Operation Iron Chain was launched, revealing horrors that would shock the country and forever change how law enforcement views infrastructure.
When kidnapping learned to move, how America's railways became rolling prisons. The freight train looked painfully ordinary, a CSX line 47 cars long rolling east from Seattle toward Chicago along one of the most routine commercial routes in the country. The manifest was dull in the way logistics paperwork is supposed to be. Electronics, automotive parts, textiles, nothing flashy, nothing suspicious. Trains like this crossed America every day, threading cities, farmland, deserts, and mountains without anyone paying attention. And that was the point, because cars 17, 23, 31, 38, and 42 were not carrying cargo. From the outside, they blended in perfectly. Rusted steel, weather-beaten panels identical to thousands of other boxcars rattling along American rails. No markings, no visible alterations. But inside those 5 cars were people, prisoners locked into secret compartments engineered to be invisible, silent, and constantly in motion. Mobile cells racing across the country at 70 miles per hour. Kidnapping is one of humanity's oldest crimes. Long before laws, borders, or police forces existed, people understood a simple truth: control the body and you control everything else. In the ancient world, abduction was blunt and public. Raiders seized villagers during wars, dragging captives away in chains. Marcus Devine didn't invent kidnapping, he refined it. He took an ancient crime and fused it with modern logistics. Transcontinental Logistics was founded in 2018, publicly positioned as a discreet freight company serving high-value clients. Devine, a former railroad executive with deep industry ties, understood infrastructure better than most. His net worth climbed to an estimated $240 million. On paper, his company moved sensitive cargo quietly and efficiently. In reality, it moved people. For 6 years, Transcontinental operated a mobile prison system hidden in plain sight. 23 trains, 117 modified boxcars. They stayed in near constant motion, never stopping long enough to invite inspection. They crossed state lines endlessly, slipping through jurisdictional cracks faster than paperwork could follow. Political dissidents, whistleblowers, journalists, witnesses, business rivals, estranged spouses bound by inconvenient legal agreements. Anyone wealthy clients wanted gone. The price was fixed, $2 million per person. Over 6 years, 847 people were transported inside those rolling cells. Some were held for weeks, others for months, locked in darkness while clients decided what should happen next. A few were released in remote locations, Montana wilderness, Alaskan tundra, with threats carefully delivered to ensure silence. Many were never released at all. Executed during night stops, bodies discarded across forests, deserts, and mountain ranges, where distance dissolves evidence. America's size did the rest. This was Operation Iron Chain, the moment federal investigators realized the nation's rail system had been turned into a weapon. Those boxcars weren't just hauling freight, but prisons, and that right now 23 trains were moving across the country with 156 living prisoners hidden inside.
Agents understood the stakes immediately. Stop the trains simultaneously or risk panic. Operators could execute prisoners, sabotage cars, trigger derailments that would kill captives and crew alike. There would be no second attempt. The brilliance of Devine's system wasn't cruelty. It was how he kept things constantly moving. In a pitch to investors, later recovered by the FBI, he explained it without hesitation. Law enforcement raids buildings, he said. They can't raid trains in motion. By the time they get a warrant for a specific car, it's crossed 3 state lines. Different jurisdiction, warrant becomes invalid. We're always ahead. From an operational security standpoint, he was right. From every other standpoint, it was pure evil. The modified boxcars were engineering achievements in the worst possible sense. From the outside, nothing gave them away. Inside, they were self-contained confinement units, soundproofed walls, air filtration systems pulling oxygen from outside, chemical toilets, water tanks, ration storage, everything necessary to keep a human alive except light. Prisoners lost their sense of time within days. One guard, who later cooperated with investigators, testified that detainees quickly stopped asking how long they'd been there. Without a daylight cycle, a week felt like a month felt endless. Psychological torture without leaving a mark. The FBI didn't stumble onto the operation by chance. It began with a pattern buried inside missing persons data. Special Agent Jennifer Morrison noticed an anomaly: high-profile disappearances that didn't behave like normal abductions. No ransom demands, no digital trails, no bodies. Some cases were explainable. Some are labeled as witness protection. Others are termed as voluntary disappearances. But 47 cases shared something unsettling. Each person vanished within 24 hours of a freight train passing through their area. Each location sat near an active rail corridor. Morrison mapped the disappearances against rail schedules. The overlap was undeniable. Transcontinental logistics trains appeared near every case. Statistical probability dropped below 1%. "We need to inspect these trains," Morrison told her team. That's when the trap revealed itself. By the time a warrant was issued in Illinois, the train was already in Iowa. By the time Iowa approved, it was in Nebraska. Jurisdiction evaporated mile by mile. They're exploiting the delay, Morrison realized. They're moving faster than the law. The FBI adapted with special authorization. Agents placed GPS trackers on suspected cars during brief service stops. Routes were mapped, schedules logged. Over 3 months, all 23 trains were tracked and the modified cars identified. Then came the break they hadn't expected.
Operation Iron Chain, rescuing prisoners on the move. Coordination was critical. Inside one of the trains, Michael Torres sat in total darkness, unsure if anyone was coming to save him. Time had blurred. Minutes felt like hours, hours like days. Then, finally, authorization came through. The Montana Railroad Authority ordered an emergency stop. The engineer complied, halting the freight train in a remote area outside Billings. Helicopters appeared overhead, swirling like vigilant hawks as the FBI tactical team descended to surround the train. "FBI, we have information about a kidnapping victim aboard this train. Conducting search now," agents shouted into radios. The train crew was baffled. "This is a freight train, no passengers. You can open all the cars." Standard cars were checked. The electronics, automotive parts, textiles, all matched the manifest. But car 23, that one, was different. Armed guards blocked the entry. "This is private cargo. You need a specific warrant." The FBI agent's response was cuttingly simple. "That is our warrant. Open it or we breach." Realization hit the guards like a thunderclap. Resistance was impossible. The car doors opened. Michael Torres blinked against the sudden light. Alive, but disoriented. "You're safe," agents reassured him. "How long have you been here?" he stammered. "Days? Weeks?" "October 13th, an agent said. "It's October 15th. The 2 days felt like a lifetime." A meticulous search revealed what Morrison had feared. This was not an isolated incident. Documents, prisoner lists, and records of 6 previous occupants detailing where they'd been released or disposed of lay scattered inside the car. This was an organized system, a network spanning miles of rails. Morrison acted fast. "We need to stop every transcontinental train immediately." Multi-state coordination of this scale was nearly unprecedented. 23 trains crossing 17 states, all to be halted within a narrow 30-minute window. The stakes were prevent operators from communicating, harming prisoners, or destroying evidence. The FBI reached out to every agency with jurisdiction: state police, railroad authorities, Amtrak police, DEA, ATF, every federal and state entity that might touch a rail segment. 73 agencies were positioned along 23 routes, each ready for the synchronized signal. Contingencies included emergency medical and fire teams in case operators acted violently or sabotaged the trains. Morrison's only fear that desperate operators might crash their trains deliberately, killing prisoners and evidence. At precisely 2 p.m. Eastern, November 1st, Operation Iron Chain commenced. Across America, 23 freight trains received emergency orders: mechanical failures, track obstructions, whatever was necessary to force a stop. Some engineers complied immediately. Others hesitated until state police vehicles physically blocked the tracks. Within 17 minutes, all 23 trains halted across 17 states.
Helicopters hovered, armored vehicles rumbled on service roads, and FBI tactical teams swarmed the trains with overwhelming force. Federal search in progress.
All personnel exit immediately, agents commanded. Confusion and fear rippled through crews. Some guards scrambled to destroy evidence, smashing phones, burning documents, but agents seized everything. The results were horrific. 19 of the 23 trains contained active prisoners, 156 people trapped in hidden compartments. Some had been confined for days, others weeks. One woman had been moved from train to train for 4 months, while her family assumed she was dead. Emaciated, disoriented, and psychologically shattered, she collapsed when she realized the date. Constant darkness, ceaseless motion, minimal human contact. Psychological torture had been her companion. Medical teams treated dehydration, malnutrition, and trauma. Some required hospitalization. Meanwhile, Marcus Devine was arrested at his Virginia home before he could flee. Calmly, he stated, "I run a logistics company. I transport freight, legal commerce." The FBI's reply was blunt. "You transport people in prison cars. That's not freight, that's kidnapping." The evidence collected over 6 years was staggering. Every kidnapping meticulously documented. Every client, every price, every prisoner movement recorded. 847 names. Of these, 156 were found alive on trains, the rest dead or released. The investigation expanded to locate them. Prosecutions lasted 3 years. Devine faced 847 counts of kidnapping, 1 per victim, plus conspiracy, wire fraud, human trafficking, money laundering, and numerous other charges. His defense: clients hired him for legitimate witness relocation services. The prosecution countered. These cars were engineered for imprisonment, soundproof with hidden compartments and chemical toilets. These were kidnapping tools, designed, operated, and profited from by Devine. Testimonies from cooperating guards, freed prisoners, and even clients painted a damning picture. Devine guaranteed permanent disappearance for $2 million per target. The jury convicted him on all counts, 47 consecutive life sentences, plus 900 years. Assets forfeited. Transcontinental Logistics dissolved. Trains and cars were sold. Proceeds went to compensate victims. "You weaponized America's rail system, turned trains into mobile prisons, and transported 847 people like cargo," the judge declared. "You are a monster. You will die in prison." The 93 train crew and guards faced trials. 67 were convicted with sentences of 15 to 40 years. 26 were acquitted, genuinely unaware of the hidden compartments, and 6 cooperated in exchange for reduced sentences. Clients, wealthy individuals who paid $2 million per disappearance, proved more difficult. The FBI had emails, wire transfers, and records proving conspiracy. 47 clients were arrested, including business executives, politicians, lawyers, and celebrities. Some cooperated for leniency. Others were convicted with sentences of 20 to 50 years. The 156 freed prisoners faced long-term recovery, psychological trauma, physical rehabilitation, and the arduous process of returning to life outside the darkness of mobile prisons.